Hey everyone, my name is Marco and welcome once again to the mycolorscreen channel where you can learn everything there is to know about customizing your Android home screen. In today's video tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to create a very popular Android home screen. So let us begin with today's tutorial. Great, so let's have a look at this amazing screen doing very well on the mycolorscreen site. It's titled iOS A8 by the very popular artist Rabrot. And as you can see, it's a 4-page setup that simply looks fantastic. It's got everything that you need, starting with our first page here. It's got your date. It's got some useful information such as, say, your unread email, how much space you got available left on your phone. And if you have a look at the top, it follows through each one of these where it's got a top bar that displays your carrier information, your cell information, so if you're running, say, UMTS or 3G or whatever else, as well as your battery information and your time. Changing to our next screen now, which will be your apps page. That selecting here will bring up your app drawer. But not only that, all these little custom icons that you can change to suit your preference. So say selecting your phone will bring up your phone icon, and same goes for each one of these different icons. Swiping to the third screen, we've got a brilliant looking music section here. It's got you're displaying your little album artwork there, as well as this cool looking badass vinyl record. And now when you select your play button at the bottom here, it straight away starts displaying any music that you got currently playing, as well as changing the artwork accordingly. Finally, you've got your amazing looking weather page right here that displays your current weather as well as the rest of the week's forecast. Simply mind-blowing. And not only that, it's all of the wallpapers combined. It almost gives you that minimal feel but clean looking. I can't really explain it, but it's a fantastic home screen setup. You definitely want to have this on your Android. I'll also be explaining how to set up this amazing lock screen that we can see before us. It's got that same top bar there, as well as some useful time and date information, and this trendy little unlocker button that just swiping it will unlock your phone. But I'll be covering that in part 2 of this home screen setup. So for now, this will be part 1. Part 2 I'll be covering tomorrow as I'm running out of time, but I definitely want to have this on your Android phone right now, so you definitely want to check out this video tutorial. Without any further ado, let us begin. Great, so before we begin, just a few things that you need to take note of, such as the apps that you'll be needing, as well as the resources that you'll be needing to copy onto your phone in order to set up this brilliant home screen. First of all, the apps that you'll be needing, definitely you want to be getting is Widget Pro. And I say Pro because if you get the free version, you simply won't be able to set up any of your custom templates that you'll be needing to copy onto your phone and then set up within Widget. Next, what you want to be getting is a custom launcher such as Nova Launcher, the one that I'm using right here. As you can see, just swiping across, it worked out very well. You're welcome to try out Apex Launcher, Holo Launcher, maybe even SS Launcher, but I cannot guarantee that they will work. But try them out. If not, I do recommend or highly recommend Nova Launcher just to make things a lot easier. Next thing that you want to be getting is media utilities. Otherwise, this badass looking media center page right here will not work, so just keep that in mind. Another app that you'll definitely be needing is Multipicture Live Wallpaper that allows you to have all those different wallpapers. And last but not least, you want to be getting a very good file explorer. I do recommend getting ES File Explorer, A, because it's free, B, because it's very easy to transition between different files and folders, very easy to copy and paste, the list goes on. So once you have each one of those apps installed, next what you'll be moving on to is how to copy and paste each one of these icons or files onto your phone. So from here, I do recommend just copying that iOS A8 file that's provided in the link below. I want you to copy that onto your phone. As you can see, I'm just going to scroll down now. There it is right here. As you can see, it's got all of these different files here, but there's just one thing that you need to do. If you want to hold down and select on each one of these, look for the ones that end in .zw. That means that it's a Widget file. So you just want to be selecting each one of them like this. So we're going to scroll down. Quite a few of them, you might have noticed that, but you just want to select all the .zws. Once you've done that, you just want to select copy now, as now they've been copied onto your clipboard. You can now go back. You want to be into your SD card now, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you want to look for that folder called Widget. If you select it now, it'll bring up your Widget folders, but the only one that we're worried about is the one called templates. As you can see, it's got all of our different widgets. If you used it before, where you've saved all of them, as you can see, they all end in .zw. So from here, you're just going to select paste. I'm just going to say apply to all and then overwrite because I've already got them in this file. but you pretty much just want to copy and paste them all into this very templates folder. Otherwise, Super Widget will not pick them up. So just keep that in mind, and that is yours. And that is everything that you need to know. I'm just going to minimize it now, as we are now ready to set up our launcher. Awesome, so these launcher settings are very easy to do on Nova Launcher. I'm just going to be holding down on my home screen and selecting that little wrench there that'll bring up my Nova settings. From here, we're going to jump into the desktop and then straight into the desktop grid. As you can see, a 12x4 grid was used here. It even worked for my unrooted Nexus 4, as this was originally designed for 720p phones, such as a rooted Nexus 4 without the soft keys, as well as, say, the Galaxy S3. But in the end, if this doesn't work out for you, I do recommend changing a few of the columns or rows, and it should, in the end, work out. And in the end, it should work out for you. I'm just going to select OK now. Going into your margins, you want both of those to be none. You want your search bar off. You want your shadows off. Home screen, you're going to be wanting 4 home screens, as there are 4 screens. Your wallpaper scrolling now, if you select it, you want it to be on, as that's how Multipicture Live Wallpaper works, but I'll get into that later. Your label icons, you want those to be off, but you do want to be selecting or enabling resize all widgets, widgets overlap, and overlap when placing. Pretty much keep those for all your screens, as it definitely comes in quite handy. From here, I'm going to be jumping into the dock, as I want that to be disabled. So if it is enabled, just deselect it. We don't want that dock. So I'm going to go back now. We're going to jump into our look and feel. And if we scroll down to the bottom, see where it says show notification bar there. We want that to be disabled. Why? Because we'll be putting in our own custom notification bar. But don't worry, you can still swipe down in order to see it. If you scroll down a bit more, if you go to gestures and buttons, you're welcome to use your own. I always tend to use my home button to show my app drawer, but there is actually an app drawer icon in the apps page, but that's just your personal preference if you want to have one or not. But in the end, that is your Nova settings done. I'm just going to select back now, and this is what your screen should look like. If you've got any apps or widgets on the screen, just remove them by holding down and selecting remove, or just dragging them into the X at the top. But that is your launcher settings done, as next we can move on to our wallpaper settings. Great, so for your wallpaper, very easy to do. You're just going to be selecting or holding down on your home screen and selecting wallpapers. From here, if you're using Nova Launcher, you're going to swipe across to your live wallpapers, whereby you can now select Multipicture Live Wallpaper like that. From here, we're going to go into our settings, and from here, we're going to be adding in our screen settings, well, our individual screen settings. So if there's only one there or none at all, you're going to select the little plus button here, and it should say either 1 or 2, but you're just going to keep selecting OK, then do it again and again until you have 4 screens set up like this. If you have more than 4 screens, say if you've got 5 or 6, then you're going to have to clear the app data within your system settings and then start from scratch once again. So just keep that in mind. Once you've got your 4 screens set up, you're going to select your screen 1 settings, go into your picture source, and then select single picture like that, whereby now you can select your preferred gallery app, whatever it may be. I always like to go for quick pick. There it is over there. From here, you're going to choose, or you're going to locate your wallpapers, the ones that you copied onto your phone. So here it is. That's that main iOS A8 folder, and there's different ones that you can choose from here. So as you can see, I'm just going to look for the gears one for the first screen. I'm just going to select it like that. Not really much anything to change there. You can just select back now, and that is your first wallpaper done. So for screen 2 settings, which will be your apps page, you can just go into your picture source, select picture once again, go into your preferred gallery app once again. So I'm just going to be waiting for it to say quick pick. There it is over there. And you want to be selecting the same process, except you're going to be selecting this dark one here. Now you're just going to repeat that for the 3rd and 4th screens. For the 3rd screen, it'll be your music. So you can just look for the little hands cheering like that. And for your final one, it's your weather page. So you just need to look for the little, I think those are clouds, but you just need to be selecting that wallpaper there. So once you've configured each one of the individual wallpapers, you can just go back out of it. If you scroll down, you don't want to show any reflections out on the top or the bottom, so no reflections there. And you can just choose whatever transition type that you want. I think I just left it stock. But from here, I'm just going to select back. And then from here, I'm just going to say set wallpaper. Awesome stuff. So once you have that selected, we can now jump into adding in each one of the individual Super widgets. So starting off with this first page here, you just want to be holding down on the home screen, selecting widgets. Now this is going to be repeated all the time, as there are Super widgets galore in this home screen. It's pretty much Super widgets everywhere. So just keep that in mind. You're going to be adding in a lot of Super widgets, but the great thing about this app is that it's very customizable, very easy to use, as well as we have a complete guide if you check in the description below. So for the first one, we're going to start off with that top bar. We're going to select a 4x1, as now that you can see that fits quite nicely, and we're just going to tap that little hand like that. From here, we're going to be selecting our SD card, as this is where all of our skins will be found for this skin as well as all the others. So as you can see, there's an iOS A8 home status bar that you can see over here. If I select it now, it's going to basically pretty much import it into Super Widget, whereby you can now see it over here. Now what might happen is that sometimes, if depending on what screen you have, it might not be configured too well, the Super Widget skin, so you might need to do some configuring within the layout. So I'm just going to select layout now. As you can see, I'm doing this because there's a slight gap there that I don't really enjoy. So I'm going to be selecting the first rectangle, which is the white one that covers the whole thing. So I'm just going to change the X offset, which is very easy to do. I'm just going to select it once across. As you can see, it's now fitting flush against the left hand side, whereby now I just need to change the width a little bit more. So let's go for, say, something like a 440 just to be on the safe side. I'm just going to select back now, back once again. Now you get the option of choosing to what will happen if you select the skin. So if you got it the way that you want it, you can now select widget on tap action to choose what it will be doing. Now you're going to be configuring these for each one of the skins, but for now I'm just going to select disabled, as I don't want to touch the skin. I just want to leave it alone. I don't want to open up anything. So if you just noticed there, it was a little bit too narrow, but then it popped out on the sides, and now it fits fully on the top, which makes it look a whole lot better. Now all you'd have to do is to basically replicate that exact same procedure for all the top bars on all the screens, and it's pretty easy to do as it's exactly the same skin, nothing changes about it. So yeah, I highly recommend doing that first of all. Now one thing to take note about Super Widget is, depending on what size you want your widget to be, it's very sensitive. So just make sure whatever size you choose, say if you want to choose a 4x1 like it just did now, don't make it say a 4x4 or a 1x1. It pretty much has to be that exact same size. Otherwise, it's not like UCCW where you can just resize it again and then it'll become all back to normal. Super Widget's a bit different in that it pretty much sticks to its configuration and it doesn't really move unless you have to remove it from the screen and then re-add it. So like what I'm going to be doing now is holding down the home screen, selecting widget. I'll be adding in that massive dates skin. It's got this the day of the week and the date. So I'm going to go back into my Super Widgets. I'm going to select now a 4x4, and it's actually a 6x4. So if I hold down, select resize, it's now that's 4x4. So one down and then one down again. That's an official 6x4 size. And from here we're going to go now select back in our SD card, because we're going to be adding in that date one. So we're just going to scroll down, and there is the info date. So I'm just going to select it now. So say if you want to make this open up your calendar, if you want the whole thing to open up your calendar, then you'd select your widget on tap action, and then either choose either disabled or scroll across, and you can make it open up your calendar just by scrolling down. There is the calendar app. However, if you only wanted to say open up Monday to open up your calendar, you can select your layout now, look for where it says Monday, and then let's just scroll down. Then the same thing applies. You've got your widget, your module on tap there. So if you scroll across now, exact same options. So I can just select calendar like this, select back again, and now I can select widget on tap action for the entire skin. So if I don't want it to open up this editor each time, I can select back again. And tapping around this will not change it, but however, if I select Monday, it'll open up my calendar. So just a little tip for everyone, as these skins are going to have to be customized pretty much for each one of these skins. So that is how you add in basically hotspots for each one of these different skins. So next I just added in the 4x4 widget skin, or the Super Widget skin, which was the info stats. So as you can see, it's got a little bit of info there. And then we have our first screen completed. If I swipe across now, as you can see, the apps page is now blank, and I'll just be adding in each one of the rows, telling you how to add in or configure each one of the different icons and text, and then adding in the dock as well. So same thing applies. We're going to hold down the home screen, select widgets now. We're going to scroll all the way down to Super Widget, and from here I'm going to be selecting a 4x3. Now just wait for all the other 720p phones out there. I think a 4x2 just works out better for you. You also get to add in an extra little app row, so you'll have 4 plus the dock instead of my Nexus 4, which only allowed for 3. So if you got a Nexus 4, I do recommend going for a 4x3 size. Everyone else, I do recommend just going for a 4x2 first and see how that works out for you. So I'm just gonna, like I said, select a 4x3, open up the skin, go into my SD card. Now you might see that the iOS all apps, it only comes with 4 right here. It's your phone, your Twitter, your Facebook, and Google+. And all of it's been configured already, so if you select the little phone icon, it's going to open up your phone application, and that's all fine and dandy. If we just select back now and just give it some time, and there it's appeared right there. Now I'm just going to move it up a little so it fits in quite nicely, but from here I'm going to be adding in another row and then configuring each one of them, so it's not going to show all exactly those same icons and text. So same thing applies. Let's go for a 4x3. I'm just going to select it now. Select the hand, select the SD card, and then again select all apps. However, from here I want to be changing each one of these icons as well as the text. So once again I'm going to go back into my layout where it shows you each one of the icons that's been added as well as the individual text. So say I wanted to change that phone icon, I'm just going to select the bitmap, the one that says phone, scroll all the way, or in the middle here it should say you're under bitmap, and then bitmap the icon. So now you can select it. Select your predefined gallery app. This is guys, go for quick pick. And from here you've got your folder icons that you've hopefully copied onto your phone with that original folder. As now it displays all of the icons that you can choose from. As you can see, there's quite a few here, which is pretty cool. Really enjoy that. So say now I wanted to change it to my camera. Let's see, let's look for the camera one. I'm just going to select it over here. There it is. But as you can see, phone hasn't changed to camera. That's because we have to edit each one of these manually. Now a lot of people are going to say that is a lot of effort, but it only takes about more or less 5 to 10 minutes to change each one of these for all of them. And there it is, it'll be done and set up. So it looks like it takes a while, but it's actually very, very easy. So I'm just going to go back again, and as you can see now, there's the text module here that says phone, but obviously I don't want it to say phone, I want it to say camera. So I'm going to be now under text, I'm going to select edit text manually, whereby I can now change it from phone, just erase that, to camera just by typing in camera like that. So I'm just going to select the little tick at the top, that has now been changed to camera, and you're just going to be repeating the process for each one of these. However, if we go back again, I want that to open up my camera now instead of my phone. So for that first bitmap, the camera one, I'm just going to select it again. I guess you could probably do this while you're configuring it, is that when you select your module on tap, that if we swipe across now, I want it to not open my phone, but instead my camera. So I can just select camera like that. I'm just going to leave these standard for now, just to show you that if we go back out of this, back again, and then go all the way out, that selecting this camera icon will open up your camera. How cool is that? So just keep that in mind. Now I'm just going to speed this process up a bit, as it's pretty much the same as this one that I've just changed a bit here. Is that you'll be adding in 4 rows and then including the dock at the bottom there for a 720p screen. However, for the next 4 guys, the ones that have the navigation bar at the bottom, you'll be adding in 3 4x3 skins at the top, as well as a 4x3 dock bar at the bottom. So just keep that in mind. And one thing to take note of as well is that if you hold down and select resize, you also might be able to get some more space if you're using a Nexus 4. I know I had to move it up a little, as well as shift some of the dock icons down as well as their text. And in order to do that, it's very easy. You just have to go open up the editor, go into your layout, and say if you wanted to move the first one, that calculator one, down a bit, I just have to select the image and then change the Y offset only, whereby you can just do the faster movement. So if you want it to be down 3 times or up 3 times, you can just change it accordingly within this offset and then go back out of it in order to save it. So just keep that in mind. As I'm now just going to let you add in each one of these rows and configure each one of your icons accordingly. Also, don't forget to change the apps that each one of these will open, as then you won't have to do those later. Great, so there we have our apps page set up. It's got about 3 rows if you're using an X4, and for the other guys you should have 4 rows, as well as the dock at the bottom. So I'm just going to swipe across now. As now for the music page, very easy to do. As you can see, I just quickly added in the different Zupa skins. For the album art at the top, that was just a 4x4. and the rest were a 3x4. So just keep that in mind. Also, what might happen is that your little vinyl record here might not display correctly. That's because you have to add it in from scratch. And in order to do that, you just need to select the skin, select layout, and then just select that first bitmap. It should have, I think it comes with a bunch of numbers, but don't select the one at the bottom. That is your album art, and Media Utilities sorts out that. So from here, I'm just going to select bitmap, scroll down to bitmap again, go into my quick pick or whatever gallery app that you want, go into the main folder of where you saved everything, and then just look for that little vinyl record right there and just select it, and hopefully it should change like that. I'm just going to select back again, and then get out of it, and then as you can see, it'll show you that nice cool looking vinyl. Next thing to take note is that you want this to be configured with Media Utilities. Remember that app that I told you about in the beginning? In order to change that, we just want to be able to integrate both of them. So you just have to open up your app drawer like this, go into wherever you've saved your Media Utilities app. So there it is right there. And from here, you just need to get into your menu, either at the bottom or at the top here for the next 4 guys, and then select your settings. From here, you want to make sure that Super Widget is enabled with Media Utilities. And you can do that by selecting, as you can see, if I scroll down into application integration, you want Super Widget to be enabled by selecting that little tick like that. Scrolling down again, you want attempt direct control to be enabled, as well as make cover art available. You want those both to be selected just to make it all work out and look a lot better. So even if that doesn't show up straight away, make sure to select the little play icon like that in order to get the information to start displaying like this. And if it doesn't, if it gives errors or the album art isn't displaying, then what you'd want to do is to just restart your phone, and hopefully everything should come right. And then finally, for the last screen, I'm just going to scroll across here. I'm just going to show you, I just simply added in a 6x4 weather widget at the top, as well as the weather info, a 4x4 skin at the bottom. Very easy to do, same method applied for all the other little Super Widget skins that have been added, as well as just changing modules accordingly. So now if you select any of your Super skins and it brings up the editor, that just means that you either just want to disable the module on tap for the entire skin, and then just choose the individual little modules to apply different apps for those to open when you select them. But this is your home screen complete, as well as part 1 of this iOS A8. The part 2 I'll be covering tomorrow, the lock screen, so do not forget about it, as it's simply amazing. So thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial. If you did enjoy it, please give us a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the mycolorscreen channel if you haven't already. You also definitely want to check out our Facebook, Google+, Twitter community, and Instagram community, as we always enjoy helping you guys out. So thank you very much guys for watching. My name is Marco, and as always, don't stop customizing.